stance. But first, here's a clip from his recent video where he exposes the risk of Palestinian statehood and what it would mean for peace in the Middle East.
The Palestinian Authority runs its cities like a dictatorship that pays cash bonuses to convicted terrorists. That's right, the more Jews you kill, the bigger your paycheck. That's their policy, the pay-to-slay policy. And their schools? Kids are taught that Israel doesn't exist and that killing Jews is an act of honor. Streets are named after suicide bombers. This is the political culture the West is about to rubber stamp as a sovereign nation. And here's what you're not being told. Once a state is recognized, it's permanent. There's no undo button when it turns into a terror launchpad.
Hanania, Naftali, thanks for joining us. You did a reel recently. It's called Why Recognizing Palestine is a Global Disaster. What were you trying to communicate through this reel?
Well, look, I think that recognizing Palestine, especially after October 7th, it's basically rewarding Hamas, because we already see that there is a de facto Palestinian state, and it's in Gaza. What did we get in return for that de facto Palestinian state? Nothing but terror, rockets, and violence. The European leaders that want to recognize Palestine, they're basically rewarding terrorism, because they're only encouraging and adding more fuel in this terror machine called Hamas. But if you want to talk about the historical facts, so obviously, in my opinion, Palestine exists today, and it's in Jordan. The majority of the population of Jordan today, they are Palestinians, so they already have a Palestinian state. We only have one Jewish state, and we need to hold on to that one Jewish state that we have. We don't ask for more states. We have only one, and we only want to keep that one that we have.
Yeah, last Friday, the UN General Assembly voted 142 to 10 against and 12 abstained to recognize a Palestinian state. What do you think is the significance of that vote?
I think the UN has lost all of its moral compass, and we've seen it time and time again when the UN was rewarding, again, Iran, for example, by placing it as head of the UN Women Committee, plotting North Korea and Syria. You see that they're very persistent in their obsession with Israel. They keep passing resolutions against the one democracy in the Middle East. I served in the army. We are the most moral army in the world. I was never taught or commanded to target Palestinian people. No army in the world is dropping leaflets warning civilians, losing the element of surprise just to keep Palestinian civilians alive. So when you look at the UN, I don't think that they are an example to moral clarity. Actually, Israel is. And in my opinion, the UN should be dismantled, reformed, because it is actually, it became a political body that pursues after politics and not justice or human rights.
Hanania, what would you say to Gen Z when they're hearing chants like from the river to the sea, Palestine would be free? What would you say to them?
Well, I would encourage Gen Z to look and research and try to dig deep into the facts, because on the surface, the chants like Free Palestine sound very appealing. It's a movement to liberate an occupied nation. These are the kind of lies that they're selling in order to gain publicity and sympathy among Gen Z. But when you actually research and look into things like that, you learn that this is a genocidal chant against the Jewish people that have returned to their ancestral homeland. So I think that questions must be asked, because when you ask serious and tough questions, you reach to conclusions. And you will learn that Israel is fighting not just for herself, but for the survival of Western civilization, because when you're in the Middle East, you learn that this is a tough neighborhood. But you will also learn that Israel is not perfect, but there are no perfect countries. But Israel sets an example of how wars should be conducted. And also keep in mind, Israel did not start this war. We want to end this war. So my message to Gen Z is to ask questions and don't believe what you are being told by the mainstream media.